my guides, Great Council of Light, when I started, one of the very first things they said was, very first downloads that I had was that there would be an event. People would stop in their tracks. They wouldn't know who and what it was that they believed in or their world has been created to be. And they will need a safe place to land. And Bashar talks about 2027 being the year of contact. I do believe that there are, many different beings walking among us now. I channel some of them myself. And there's lots of people who are waking up to their spiritual gifts. There's lots of people who are waking up to remembering who they are as they raise their frequency, as they start to explore and discover and use their discernment. People are going to start stepping into their spiritual gifts in a big way. I'm seeing it now. Hi, everyone. I'm Pamela Downes. I am a trance channeler for the Great Council of Light. And I'm also founder of Spirit Calling, a spiritual community filled with seekers and people who are waking up to remembering themselves. Um, I am an incarnate aspect of the Great Council of Light and have come here in this lifetime to help humanity realize their true potential through community and through deep soul healing work that I do in energy transmissions and channel guidance. So, I'm excited to be here today for part two to just talk about some of, the questions that I get asked a lot inside of my community and on all of my platforms. People are talking about, this giant shift in humanity and humanity's awakening, and remembering who truly they are. And, what are some of the things that we can do to navigate through that transcendence process, that shift. And we talk so much about, shifting our frequencies and understanding who we are and waking up to our personal gifts and the connections to our spirit guides and, all of the connections that we have to our higher self and our soul tribe and all of that. So I'd love to talk to you today about some of those questions and provide some, practical guidance in my opinion and my experience as a trance channeler, but also as living in that spiritual path that you are also living on too. I've just been maybe traveling it a little longer than you, but we all have all of these abilities and we're all here sharing this three-dimensional existence together and watching our consciousness rise and shift. I put that video out this summer and I still get messages from people. I just got one today saying, I just saw you. I saw you talking about the tsunami video or the tsunami vision. I have had multiple dreams of tsunamis. Do you think it's real? Do you think this, there are multiple timelines, like I just said, happening simultaneously, and every single decision individually and collectively change the timelines. But I feel so strongly that we will have that experience in the future. And that will be one of those moments where everything changes. So I believe in 2026 and 2027, we're going to have more natural disasters. And I do believe that we are going to have contact. I believe I had a vision in 2020, in May of 2020. You can go look at my YouTube channel and my posts. There's a picture that I posted. I sketched it. I drew it. I had a vision of a fake alien invasion. And I witnessed myself in this vision witnessing the invasion. And I knew I had no fear. I wasn't scared. And I knew that it was not real, that it was man-made. I do believe that there will be an experience like that. I don't know if it'll be in the next 2 years, but I do believe that there will be some sort of contact, some sort of alien experience in the next 2 years. I've also had a vision of many, many, many thousands of ships in the sky. You could look at my Wisdom from the North interview with Yannicka. I talk about it, where I saw thousands of ships in the sky as basically an awareness campaign telling us, we're here, you are not alone. Now, a movie just came out. I think it's called Age of Disclosure. It was a gigantic fear campaign to scare the crap out of everybody. I love that it had multiple, people in the government talking and sharing their experiences and telling us that they've been aware of this. But they also instilled fear and still fear it. I believe that they are tactics to scare us because I believe that there is an agenda at play. I also believe that if it was a serious piece, that they would have included Dr. Stephen Greer in that piece because of his experience with working with different presidents and in working with the government. It didn't make sense to me. So in the next 2 years, Bashar talks about it too. I really don't follow any other channelers, but my community shares a lot inside of my community spirit calling. And Bashar talks about 2027 being the year of contact. I don't know if that's the year or not. I do believe that there are, many different beings walking among us now. I channel some of them myself, and there's lots of people who are waking up to their spiritual gifts. There's lots of people who are waking up to remembering who they are. There's lots of people who are starting to channel. There's lots of people who are starting to remember themselves. And that alien story is a part of who we are. We are all aliens. We are all starseeds. We are all originated from different systems, from different beings. So it's the truth of who we are that will come out in the next couple of years. I think 2026 is going to be another year of great shifts, another year for people to use their discernment, another year for people to walk away from old belief systems. I believe 2026 is going to be a year of huge expansion in technology and AI in good ways and in bad ways. We're all using it to help us advance in our work. We're using it now. We're learning to use it in greater ways. But I believe that there's a tipping point with that as well. And I believe that that is going to advance very rapidly, very, very rapidly. So there's a lot to expect. And in regards to people, their systems turning on, as they raise their frequency, as they start to explore and discover and use their discernment, people are going to start stepping into their spiritual gifts in a big way. I'm seeing it now. I've been helping people a lot with that, understand what it is, helping them navigate through it because they're starting to see, hear, they're starting to understand and move energy through their body. Their clair senses are starting to open up. Their third eye, their pineal gland are starting to awaken. I mean, it's like big stuff. It's big stuff. So 2026, I think, it's going to be an amazing year that we have to look forward to, and it's here. Those who are stuck between 3D and 5D, it's an interesting word, stuck. They're not really stuck. They are in the middle of expansion, and that's a journey. That's a continual journey. And I'm watching it happen real time. So the world that we exist in, everything's immediate. We can order anything we want. It's at our fingertips, right? We can order tickets to things. We can order products that we need. We can be influenced to purchase fashion, food. We can buy a car if we want to at our fingertips online. I mean, everything is there. And what that's what we want with our spiritual gifts. That's what we want with our spiritual awakening. It can happen all at once. It can. I have moments that have woken I have awakened to things very quickly, and it is happening that, but the reason we came here is to have that expansion through experiences. So when we get to that tipping point of 3D, 5D, we're all living there right now. Those of us who are watching these sorts of videos, who are looking to learn, we are dipping our toe in. I am living in it and then finding it hard to live in 3D. I'm bridging it constantly because we have to live in a 3D reality. That's who we are. We are three-dimensional beings. That's how we operate. It's how we function. The number one thing that I say is to have grace for yourself. You need to have grace and compassion for yourself because you came here to remember. You came here to learn this. You came here for this journey, number one. Number two, it's not always immediate. I say, and I talk about suffering. I talk about the struggle. I talk about things like that. There we go. They're important journeys. They're important experiences for us because through that struggle, through the suffering, we expand. It's the only way to do it sometimes. So I often talk about, a painter or a musician. You're in the middle of creating the masterpiece. It's one stroke at a time. It has to happen that way. You pull it out of you and you're bringing it into your three-dimensional reality, putting it before your, that's our life. That's our life. That is also our journey to remembering our spiritual gifts. Every single one of us is born with these abilities. I'm not unique. People who are like me, we're just further on the path. We have a pineal gland inside of our head. I was in the middle of channeling a message for my community, and this pineal gland activation meditation came up. It was so strong. When I recorded it, the council came in and infused energy to it. It's like they are leading you in this activation meditation. When it's happening and you're doing it, your pineal gland is pulsing. You're feeling the pressure. It's incredible. We have that tool. It has crystals, it's an antenna to other worlds. We have it. So by working on it, you are helping it wake up to help you bridge those planes of existence. You have your clair senses to see, to sense, to hear, to feel, like all of them, to taste, to smell. You have all of them. When you are waking up to remembering them, to using them. You have your chakra system, your energy system through your body. Like, oh, this is who we are. We are amazing, magnificent beings of light who are occupying and running this three-dimensional meat suit. That's the gift, to remembering that we are all of those things. So remember that. And remember that you are remembering who you are. And have grace for yourself. It can be frustrating. It can be hard. You know, we have, we get impatient. We want it now. That is the journey. I help people navigate through that all the time. And in my Awakening Accelerator Mastermind, it's a monthly session that I opened up and created. I channel live. I do these soul activation, DNA light code activations, real time, helping people shift their vibration, which is allowing them to tap into all the things I just talked about more quickly, because everything's shifting really quickly, Evelyn. It's shifting very, very quickly. So they're the things that we need to be able to bridge, to live, and to journey in this way. That's why we're here. My guides, Great Council of Light, when I started, one of the very first things they said was, very first downloads that I had was that there would be an event. People would stop in their tracks. They wouldn't know who and what it was that they believed in, or their world has been created to be. And they will need a safe place to land. To me, that could be many different things. But to me, I feel like disclosure, you know, the truths of our world is has a really high potential for an experience like that. So there has been a world that has been created for us. We get born into a system, we get born into a health system, we go into an education system, we go into a religious system or not. We go into a debt system. We are supposed to get married and have babies, and we go into another system. Like, our whole entire life is figured out for us. And there's a reason for that. There's a whole system that was created for us to be, and David Icke talks about this, enslaved with him. And I believe that there are beings that run our world. And so disclosing what that system, what that origination story of our world looks like is one high potential. That's a disclosure, right? We look at the entertainment industry. The guys have talked about that will be revealed. The people who run our world, the people who are making the decisions. They talk about, people falling high from their ranks in politics and in government and in the entertainment and music industry, because all will be revealed. And those systems, that's disclosure. I know we're talking about ET disclosure, but that's disclosure because it involves beings that are not of this world, that run our planet. So I believe that has a high probability of happening. And when that happens, Evelyn, oh my gosh, people will stop in their tracks. They will not understand. They will put together the pieces of the stories that they've heard, all of the things that we've heard and maybe thought about, but put aside because we were uncomfortable and we didn't want to hear or see those things. But they will all connect the dots, and people will stop in their tracks, and people will say, what the heck have I believed in my entire life? If that happens, that will be a huge consciousness shift for our world. But if the ETs do, if you watch the movie The Age of Disclosure, I did not like it. I had to turn it off because I felt like it was fear mongering. I really felt like it was fear mongering. It was, to me, it felt like intentional narrative to make people fearful of a future fearful event. It felt that way. So if you've watched it, go watch it again with that in mind. I believe that I believe that we have free will on planet Earth. We have the Galactic Federation. They want to try and help with contact, right? But they ultimately can't kind of get involved with some of the decisions that we're making on our planet. If our government chooses to do a fake alien invasion as a scare tactic, which will lower the frequency of our planet, then that will be a disclosure event, but of the man-made kind. You know what I mean? If we have a benevolent disclosure event where they all come, like I've seen in the vision of thousands of ships in the sky, that will be a disclosure event, which will shift frequency of humanity. If people are not awake, they will be fearful. They will have a moment. You know, it will break the cycle of everything that you've seen or heard or knew, obviously, for a moment, just like COVID did, just like certain things have in our life. And I don't know what that future looks like. We've got to have the moment, and then it has to shift in one way or the other. And there are the timelines that we talk about. But for us, the guides have talked about this, for us to have an intergalactic society, that's down the road, baby. They say that that's there, that we used to have that world. So we've got a lot of things that are high potential probabilities to get us to these different places, these different landing places. We don't know. We don't know what's coming. But I believe that that's one of those options of disclosure is eminent for our future. And for anybody who's looking for more information, come and visit me at spirit-calling.com. I channel monthly messages from my community, from the Great Council of Light. I have all kinds of activations and meditations to help you as you are trying to raise your frequency. And I would love to see you. And on my social platforms, they're all at Spirit Calling Pamela.